Good morning, guys. Well, I'm in New York right now, so it's actually not morning out here, but I'm still running on that Cali time. And I know it's morning back home, um, but I'm hungover, y'all. So excuse how I look. Uh, but I wanted to get on here and um, tell y'all about this question that was asked to me yesterday. I'm out here in New York um, on my advocacy tip. And I was doing an interview yesterday, and one of the questions that they asked was, um, who do you go to for support in dealing with the challenges of living with HIV and the challenges of treatment, the HIV medication, and, being engaged in HIV medical care. And surprisingly, my answer had nothing to do with my friends and my family. Usually when you think about, your support system, the first thing that should come to mind is your family and your friends. And don't get me wrong, my family and my friends support me, no doubt, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think that they know how to support me in dealing with living with HIV or the challenges of growing up positive and being engaged in HIV medical care or the challenges of HIV treatment. So my answer was when I felt like, when I first felt like, well, my story is kind of interesting. For the longest, from when I grew up positive, I was born positive. So for the longest, that responsibility wasn't even mine. My parents made sure I took my medication every day until I turned 18 and I got grown and I left the house. And they made sure I made it to my doctor's appointments and stayed engaged in HIV medical care. And then when that responsibility fell on me, it changed. It changed a lot. And I rebelled. And that's because I was trying to fit in with the rest of society and be like everybody else and not have to worry about taking no medication and turn up and party and live that college life. And I didn't even want people seeing me take medication, and asking or inquiring about why I'm taking this medication, because I didn't want to have to disclose, because of the stigma surrounded by HIV. I didn't know how people would react. So, but surprisingly, when I felt that support was when I started working in the field and volunteering and being around other people going through the same thing that I'm going through, living with HIV, that's when I started being able to be engaged in those conversations, because for so long I never talked about it. And I don't think my family or my friends, they're not living with it. You know what I'm saying? They're not living with this experience. So those conversations naturally, when I'm around my friends and family, are not being brought up. They're not thinking about asking me, oh, how are you doing with your medication? Or reminding me, my friends especially, reminding me to take my medication every day, or Hey, Portia, how you feeling? How are things going with your doctor's appointments? Or, just, I don't think those type of things are coming to their mind. And I never talked about it growing up, going through my adolescent teenage years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just something that's not talked about, with my family and my friends. And so I didn't even start engaging in those conversations until I started working in the field and volunteering and being able to be in, obviously, like, I've never been a part of support groups, but I've facilitated support groups and engaged in those conversations with my clients while working, and ironically, being able to help other people or talk to my clients, and be co-facilitating those support groups, and helping them deal with the challenges of living with HIV and treatment adherence and stuff. Being able to help them with it also helped myself, And so that was my answer. But it was just interesting. And I just wanted to put that out there. It's crazy how I can answer, or when in hindsight, after the fact, after the question is asked to me, I can go back and answer this question so much more effectively, or I don't know. I got to learn how to tap in and say how I feel, tap into how I feel, and articulate that in an interview or on camera better. Because I think, like, when I'm in the moment of doing the interviews, I'm so nervous and thinking too much about what I have to say instead of just being in tune and tapped in and saying how I feel. And I gotta get better at that. But all right, that's just the conversation I wanted to have with you guys because I thought it was interesting. And hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I think I'm gonna give me some more rest. And I hope y'all enjoyed this insight.